Sunday, December 1st, 1940. In the Battle of Britain, Southampton, London, Liverpool, Birmingham, Plymouth, and Bristol endure Luftwaffe attacks. The German pilots are unaware of the effectiveness of the British use of radar, and after suffering heavy losses in bombers shot down by RAF Spitfires, they are forced to fly in small squadrons and to constantly change their flying altitude. For its part, the RAF keeps on hammering strategic targets within Germany. On this occasion, the Wilhelmshaven shipyards are targeted. In the Greek-Italian War, the Greek armies continue their advance on all fronts. They take Pogradec in southeast Albania on the shores of Lake Ohrid, while the Duce's armies fail in their attempts to counterattack. In the Far East, the tension builds up between Siam, recently renamed Thailand, and neighboring Indochina, occupied by the French but with Japanese bases on its territory. Disputes over the left bank of River Mekong, one of the richest areas in the region, provoked the Thai government to bomb military targets along the border between the two countries. In the Battle of the Atlantic, U-101, commanded by Ernst Mengersen, spots the HX-90 convoy and sinks the British merchant ships Appalaches, Loch Ranza, Lady Glenelg, and Kabak. At the same time, Otto Kretschner's U-99 sinks the auxiliary cruiser Vorfahrt, which was escorting the tanker ship Conch. Monday, December 2nd. In Berlin, the Luftwaffe High Command believes Flying Ace Helmut Wick has been lost during a mission in the Battle of Britain on the 25th of November. He had shot down 56 enemy planes. Hitler tells the head of the OKW, Wilhelm Keitel, that the preparations to invade Soviet Russia must be speeded up. The offensive will help protect Japan from attack and make American intervention in the war more difficult. In London, Joseph Patrick Kennedy, the U.S. ambassador to Britain, publicly announces that he has turned in his resignation to President Roosevelt due to their different opinions with regard to the situation in Britain and Europe. The Greek army has captured more than 5,000 Italian soldiers as they were withdrawing deeper into Albanian territory. In China, a terrorist attack targets the train line linking Shanghai and Nanking. The American press breaks the news that the Chinese government is to be loaned $100 million. In the Atlantic, U-boats, including Gunther Prien's U-47 and Otto Kretschmer's U-99, attack the HX-90 convoy coming from Halifax in Canada, using wolf pack tactics and sinking 16 ships. At the same time, the British Admiralty announces the loss of the submarine Triad, the oil tankers Renovia and Wilhelm Vesny, and the destroyer Sturdy. Tuesday, December 3rd. In Berlin, Hitler wishes Field Marshal Fedor von Bock a happy 60th birthday. Von Bock has been chosen to head the invasion of the Soviet Union, and the Führer expresses his concern about rumors that suggest the Russians, British, and Americans have established contacts. After meeting with the Führer, King Boris of Bulgaria declares that his country will always be grateful to the Axis leaders for the recovery of the Dobruja territories and expresses his willingness to collaborate in the future reorganization of Europe. The Greeks make further advances against the Italians north of Pogradec. They close in on Saranda, Santi Quaranta, and occupy a large part of southern Albania they call North Epirus. In Washington, a meeting takes place between the Secretary of the Treasury, Henry Morgenthau, the Secretary of War, Henry Stimson, the Secretary of the Navy, Frank Knox, the Chief of Staff of the Army, George Marshall, and the Undersecretary of State, Sumner Welles, to discuss the current state of play in the leasing of arms to Britain. In North Africa, the Allies attack the Italian garrison of Gazala in Libya, while British planes from bases in Greece bomb the industrial areas of Naples. In the Battle of the Atlantic, the attack on convoy HX-90 continues, and U-140, captained by Commander Hans-Peter Hinch, sinks the British freighter Victoria City. Wednesday, December 4th. Speaking at a rally in the Berlin Sport Palace, an enraged Hitler says, "If the British continue bombing Germany, the Luftwaffe will drop enough explosives on Britain to wipe out the country." The defeat of the Italians in Greece is a serious setback to Hitler and a humiliation for the fascist movement and for his friend Mussolini.
Bis heute 14 Millionen zu machen und ich werde aus den 14 Millionen die 20 und die 30.
The Kriegsmarine launches U-522, a 500-ton submarine of the 7C model built by the Blohm & Voss shipyards in Hamburg. Luftwaffe bombers pound the cities of Bristol, London, and Southampton. The fighter plane pilots escorting the bombers know that the policy of attacking only military targets was forgotten some time ago. The British Home Secretary, John Anderson, announces in the House of Commons that all women over 21 years of age have now been mobilized and that no efforts will be spared in the air and naval wars. From the Vatican, Pope Pius XII calls for a ceasefire during Christmas. The American government authorizes 4 new ships to be handed over to Britain. These will add to the 130 leased since the start of the war. In the Sea War, U-37, commanded by Asmus Nikolai Clausen, sinks the Swedish vessel Daphne. Thursday, December 5th. In Berlin, Hitler meets Generals von Brauchitsch and Halder of the Army High Command to analyze the details of the planned invasion of the Soviet Union. Franz Halder remarks that Operation Felix, the invasion of Gibraltar via Spain, could be carried out at the start of the coming year. The German and Romanian governments sign a comprehensive agreement of mutual cooperation. The battleship Bismarck leaves the Baltic Sea and returns to base in Hamburg to be fully re-equipped. The Spanish government gives permission to German ships to refuel and take on supplies in Spanish harbors. London, Birmingham, and Southampton endure new raids by German planes, while the English Channel is the scene of a long-range artillery duel. At the same time, RAF airplanes bomb the Dusseldorf region of Germany and the ports of Antwerp and Calais, along with several airfields in Northern Europe. In the region of Pobredak, Greeks engage in heavy fighting with Italians, while further to the south, they take Prometi, Pernet. In North Africa, the Allies attack the Italian positions east of Tessine in Eritrea. In Italy, squadrons of British planes attack the industrial areas of Turin. In the United States, the American government loans $100 million in aid to the Argentine Republic. In Indochina, riots take place against the French occupation forces. Friday, December 6th. In southern Albania, Greek troops occupy the strategic port and naval base of Saranda, Santa Quaranta. After the disastrous campaign in Greece, Marshal Pietro Badoglio, commander-in-chief of the Italian forces, hands in his resignation. He is substituted by General Ugo Cavallero, who currently heads the armies of East Africa. In the Battle of Britain, there is a slight let-up in the intensity of Luftwaffe raids against London. However, the Germans continue what they call the industrial war against Coventry, Birmingham, Southampton, and Bristol. British air raids target the port of Rotterdam in Holland and the U-boat base at Lorient in France. In North Africa, the preparations for the British counter-offensive, codenamed Operation Compass, begin. A Royal Navy fleet, commanded by Counter-Admiral Rawlings and comprised of battleships, cruisers, destroyers, and an aircraft carrier, supports the thousands of men advancing against the Italian positions. In the Battle of the Atlantic, U-43, commanded by Wolfgang Luth, sinks the Norwegian freighter Skrim.